Kondosan.
Once upon a time, 3 little pigs named Honky, Ponky and Minky lived happily with their mother in their home. One day, they came across a job posting in the park. The job entailed raking leaves in the park. Minky, the youngest and smartest brother, said excitedly,
Mommy, we saw a job posting. Please, let us work half a day in the park tomorrow.
While their mother considered their request, Honky and Ponky started dancing around her, making funny gestures. Begging her, Minky joined them too.
Please, Mommy, please, let us work.
After giving it some thought, their mother agreed.
Well, okay.
The 3 brothers were so excited. They chose their clothes for the following day, took a bath and went to bed early. Early in the morning, they went to the park. The custodian let them know their shift would end in the evening. They got their brooms and started to work.
Brothers, let's each take a corner and start raking, working our way in.
Meanwhile, a pair of eyes watched the pigs from behind the bushes. It was none other than the wicked wolf. The wolf devised a plan to thwart the piglets from finishing their job.
I'll teach you, little pigs. You will never be able to rake those leaves because I'll send more your way after I blow them off the tree. Ha ha! You will see.
The wicked wolf climbed the tree and started to blow the leaves. Honky kept raking the leaves, but didn't see what the wicked wolf was doing.
Too many leaves. The more we rake, the more they appear.
Stop whining and rake away. We have little time left.
The 3 brothers got back to work. Meanwhile, the wolf was going from tree to tree, shaking branches so the leaves would fall. He got to the tree next to Ponky.
I'll blow all the leaves.
Ponky could not understand why the pile of leaves wouldn't lessen. Then, the wicked wolf jumped onto the tree next to Minky.
I'll blow and make all the leaves fall on your head.
The leaves fell like raindrops. Mickey looked up and saw the wicked wolf blowing through the branches, making the leaves fall. He rubbed his eyes, thinking he had been under the sun for too long and was seeing things. But the wolf was still there, jumping from one branch to the next, making the leaves fall. Minky called his brothers immediately.
Look up at the trees!
The piglets were surprised. So they devised a plan right away.
We are not afraid of...
The wicked wolf!
And they started to shake the tree where the wolf had climbed. The wolf managed to jump to the next tree.
On the apple tree!
This time they started to shake the apple tree. The wolf got dizzy from all the shaking, lost his footing and fell to the ground.
I'm not done with you yet. We'll meet again.
Yeah, right.
It's getting late. We have very little time left. The park is about to close and there are leaves everywhere.
The three little pigs started to rake the leaves, even though they were worried.
I've got a brilliant idea. This is how we do it.
They rubbed the mastic tree sap. And put it on the rake tines. Thus, the leaves stuck. And they could gather more leaves in a short time. In half an hour, they gathered all the leaves in the park. They took a deep breath when they finished. On their way home, the three little pigs decided to buy a gift for their mother and surprise her. They wanted to buy a necklace, but even after putting their money together, it was not enough.
If we can't afford a necklace, let's buy a nice cake from the bakery.
They happily ate the cake and rubbed the frosting on each other's noses.
Now tell me, children, did you have fun working?
It was fun, Mom. A little tiring, but we still had a lot of fun.
The leaves were so colorful and beautiful. They looked so nice as they fell to the ground. But it was funnier watching the wolf falling from the tree.
Once upon a time, in a very cold country, there lived two little children who were neighbors. They were very good friends. The girl's name was Gerda, and the boy was called Kai. They played together all the time. Every night, Gerda's grandmother would gather them in front of the fireplace and tell them stories. That night, Grandma was telling them the story about the Snow Queen.
Kids, the Snow Queen was a very beautiful girl with deep green eyes. But she was also just as evil. She would use sleighs to trick the children, capture them, and then turn them into ice sculptures. Like her hair, her heart was also made of ice.
Grandma, that's so scary. What if she comes to our house? We need to protect ourselves from her.
Kids, this is actually a true story. Please don't ever get on the sleighs of strangers. If you do, bad things may happen to you.
The next day, Kai and Gerda went out for some sled racing across the snow-covered countryside. Kai was still in the effect of Grandma's story.
Gerda, when I went to bed last night, I thought of something. I wonder if the Snow Queen can be melted. If we can get her near the fireplace, maybe we can melt her. This way the spell she casted on all those frozen children will be broken and they'll be set free.
Kai, please lower your voice. Maybe she can hear us and will get very angry. We must be careful.
I will melt the Snow Queen.
In fact, the Snow Queen could hear even a whisper from anywhere in the country. After hearing Kai laughing and making fun of her, the Snow Queen decided that she would bring Kai to her palace and turn him into an ice sculpture forever. She immediately sent a beautiful reindeer-drawn sleigh to where the children were.
Oh my God, what a beautiful sleigh this is! Do you think we should hop on and try it, Gerda? According to the story, the Snow Queen also has a sleigh, but this can't be it. Look how beautiful this is. It's covered in silver and so shiny.
No, Kai, don't get on. Remember what Grandma said? She warned us not to get on any stranger's sleigh.
It's so beautiful. I'll ride it just for a little and then get off right away.
As soon as Kai got on the sleigh, the reindeers took off right up in the air. Within seconds, they were out of sight. The Snow Queen was having him taken to her castle. Kai was very scared and regretful for not listening to Gerda. But it was too late. Months passed and they didn't hear from Kai at all. Seasons passed, the snow melted, and summer arrived. Gerda was worried sick, so she finally went to talk to her grandmother.
Grandma, I'm going off to search for Kai. I'm so worried about him and I've missed him so much. Please, let me go.
On one condition, Gerda. I trust you a lot, and you are a brave girl, but I have a magic mirror and I want you to take it with you.
What good is this mirror to me, Grandma?
When you come face to face with the Snow Queen, make her look into this mirror. Only then you will see its use.
Gerda placed the mirror in her bag and left. While going through the forest, she came across a small cottage. She knocked on the door because she was tired and wanted to rest a little. A sweet old lady opened the door. Actually, she was a sorcerer who always did good spells.
Come in, pretty girl. We were waiting for you. I know why you're here, and I'm going to help you. You're searching for your best friend Kai. My cat Cotton will tell you where he is.
Really? Thank you so much.
Gerda immediately went next to Cotton, who was lying on a pillow by the fireplace.
Dear Cotton, how can I find my friend Kai?
Meow. There's a little girl in the cottage at the end of the forest. She told me to send you there as soon as you arrived. She knows where your friend is. Meow.
Gerda thanked them and left. She walked and walked, and when she reached the cottage at the end of the forest, night had already fallen. A little girl met her before she came and knocked on the door.
Welcome, Gerda. I was expecting you. Please sit by the fire and have something to eat.
I'm really tired and hungry. Thank you so much.
After you eat, get some rest. Tomorrow I will send you to the Snow Queen's palace. Don't worry.
In the morning, they went to the barn in the back, where there were 2 beautiful reindeers. The little girl could talk to the reindeers. She whispered to their ears to take Gerda to the Snow Queen's palace. Right away, they prepared a beautiful sleigh.
I don't know how to thank you for helping me.
Have a nice trip. Don't be scared. My reindeers will take you to the palace and you will find your friend Kai. Take these with you.
Gerda set off on the road with the reindeers pulling on the sleigh. They travelled for several days. Everywhere was covered with white snow. Thankfully, the little girl had given Gerda a thick coat, a hat, and a warm blanket.
I'm covered with a warm blanket while traveling on a sleigh. I'd be so happy if I could do this with Kai. Hopefully we can do it on our way back.
After journeying for days, they finally arrived in front of a shimmering white castle. Gerda realized that they had arrived at the Snow Queen's castle.
My dear reindeers, wait for me here. I'm going to go get my friend and come right back.
She went right into the castle. Everything was made of ice and was covered with icicles. She wandered around the entire castle, but there was absolutely no one around.
Kai! Kai! Where are you? Kai! I can't find you.
Her voice was echoing in the empty castle when she finally opened the door of a room on the top floor. Suddenly, she saw Kai. He was standing like a statue in the middle of the room.
Kai! Kai! Wake up! Talk to me! I've missed you so much, my dear friend. I've finally found you.
She was crying and rubbing all over and trying to melt the ice. She cried and cried so much that her tears started melting the ice around Kai. Suddenly, Kai came alive and started talking.
Gerda, I know you would come for me. I also missed you, and I'm so happy to see you.
We'll talk about everything later, Kai. Let's get out of here right away.
Right then, the Snow Queen returned to the castle and walked into the room where they were standing. She was terrifying. Gerda was seeing her for the first time. With her long white hair and deep green eyes, the Snow Queen was a beautiful woman. The Snow Queen started to shout with anger.
How dare you, entering my castle without permission and melting my sculpture? Now it's your turn. You asked for it. You will also be one of my sculptures. Ha 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 ha.
Gerda was terrified, but she knew that she had to stand up against the Snow Queen. Suddenly, she remembered the mirror that her grandmother had given her.
I've never seen anyone quite as beautiful as you. But unfortunately, your heart is not as beautiful. I feel sorry for you. You can turn me into an ice sculpture if you wish, but my grandmother sent you a mirror. Can you look at it once?
Give me that mirror. Why did she send this to me?
The Snow Queen took the mirror in her hands and was shocked because the reflection in the mirror was of her as a child. She was a pretty little girl with long blonde hair and deep green eyes.
Oh my God, what's happening?
At that moment, a cloud of dust surrounded the Queen. Getting smaller and smaller, she turned into a small, beautiful girl. A miracle had taken place. The mirror was in fact magical. Those who looked into it would see their true selves. It seemed that the Snow Queen had been very sad as a child because no one had played with her. One day, a sorcerer said to the Snow Queen, "You have to punish them," and asked if she wanted to seek revenge on those who didn't play with her. Filled with sadness as a child, she had made the wrong decision and had said yes. The sorceress turned her into the Snow Queen and filled her heart with evil. Since the mirror had broken the terrible curse, everyone was now filled with joy. "Thank you so much. I'm saved now. My heart is filled with kindness once again." Kai and Gerda went to the reindeers that awaited them, journeyed back the way they had come, and returned to their old happy days. And of course, to their grandmother's stories. Once upon a time, in a small house there lived a young married couple. They were a very happy couple and were expecting a baby.
I know it's important for our baby to be healthy, but I do hope we have a daughter, my love.
Yes, I would love to have a daughter too. God willing, we'll have a daughter that will look like you.
The day of the birth was getting closer, and the young mother excitedly awaited the birth of her baby. Every day the mother would look out the window and over the high wall and admire her neighbour's garden filled with flowers and fruits. One day she noticed a yellow-leaf plant that she had never seen before.
I wonder what the name of that plant is. It smells wonderful. I'm sure it tastes amazing too. I have to eat that plant. I will go straight to my neighbor and ask her.
Without wasting any time, the young mother left the house. But she had no idea that her next-door neighbor was a cruel witch. She knocked on the door, unaware of the danger that awaited her.
Ooh. Hello, neighbor. The yellow plant in your garden smells amazing. I'm pregnant and really craving for it. Is it an edible plant?
Of course. I can give you a little. It tastes incredible and it's really good for humans.
Then it'll be good for my baby too.
Of course, dear neighbour. Especially for expecting mothers. But remember, because it's so valuable, you may only take one.
Everything is going just as I planned.
The young woman finished eating the piece she had taken as soon as she got home, but she wanted to eat more.
Bring me more. If I don't eat it, I can't have this baby.
Don't worry. I'll do everything I can to bring you more of that yellow plant.
As night fell and it got dark, the helpless husband climbed over the tall wall and took the plant that his wife wanted. This went on for some time. Every night, the young man secretly entered the garden, but he was uneasy about entering his neighbour's garden without permission. The bad witch had actually grown this plant to set up a trap to them. She knew that her neighbour was expecting a baby and that she would definitely crave for this with its smell. She had her eye on the baby for a long time. She was going to take the baby one way or another. One evening, as the man entered the garden again, the witch caught him red-handed. She now had the appearance of a witch. She was very ugly and was extremely scary-looking. The poor man was frightened.
Please forgive me.
My wife is pregnant and she can't stop eating this plant.
I was forced to do this because you said she could only take one.
I know this is wrong, but if she doesn't eat it, I'm afraid that my wife will die.
I'm in a very tough situation.
I'll accept your apology only with one condition. You must give me the baby that is to be born. If not, I'll destroy all of you.
The man had to accept this condition. When the time of the birth arrived, a beautiful baby girl was born. The witch went to their house immediately.
Her name shall be Rapunzel. You shall raise her until she turns 1. In exactly 1 year, I will come and take her from you.
The helpless couple accepted. When Rapunzel turned 1, the witch came and took the crying baby away from her mother and father and locked up the baby in a tower in the middle of the forest. She was going to raise the baby there. Many years passed. Rapunzel was now a beautiful young girl. As she had never cut her hair, it was several meters long. Her hair was golden blonde. She had deep green eyes. Whenever the witch went to the tower, she would call out to her.
My dear blonde-haired girl, I'm here. Let your hair down.
Rapunzel would throw her long braid down, and the witch would climb up to the tower using her hair. She had a wonderful voice. She sang all day long until nightfall. Her voice echoed across the forest and all the birds would fly to the window to listen to her. Birds were her only friends. One day, a prince was wandering around the forest. When he heard Rapunzel singing, he wondered where this marvelous sound was coming from. As he followed the direction of the sound, he approached the tower and realized the voice was coming from there.
I must meet the girl with this amazing voice. I wonder how I can go up this tower.
As he desperately walked round and round the tower, he suddenly saw a witch calling to the top of the tower. He hid behind a tree at once and watched.
My dear blonde-haired girl, I'm here. Let your hair down.
Rapunzel let down her braided hair, and the witch climbed up to the tower.
I found how to go up the tower.
Having waited for the witch to leave, the prince now called out to the tower, impersonating the voice of the witch.
My girl, please let down your beautiful blonde hair again. I forgot something up there.
I'm letting it down right away, Mother.
With one swift move, she let down her hair again. The prince climbed up the tower using her hair and met Rapunzel. It was the first time in her life that the beautiful girl was seeing another person.
Ah! Who are you? Why are you here? Where is my mother?
There's no need to be afraid. I'm the prince of this country. Your wonderful voice brought me here. To come up here, I had to impersonate your mother's voice.
Rapunzel, who at first was very frightened, slowly realized that he wasn't a bad person. The prince was already charmed by her beauty. Days and months passed by. The prince was coming to the tower every day. When they spent time together, they didn't realize how fast the time passed. Then, he finally proposed to Rapunzel.
Rapunzel, I want to live with you for the rest of my life. Will you marry me?
Of course I'll marry you.
I must now return to the palace.
I will try and find a solution to get you out of here at once.
Rapunzel was very excited that she would finally see the outside world once she married the prince. She was so bored of living alone in the tower for all those years. He held Rapunzel's hair and headed down the tower. Unfortunately, the witch was there too and saw the prince. She immediately understood what was going on. She raged with anger. As Rapunzel was pulling her hair back up again, the witch held onto it and climbed up. She was so annoyed and furious.
What's going on? Who's that just left? I've been hiding you up here to protect you from evil, but you've been talking to strangers and making friends with them.
He's the prince of this country. He asked for my hand in marriage, and I accepted. I'm so happy, Mother. I was waiting for you to come and tell you all about it.
What? What nonsense is this? I'll show you.
The witch was so angry that with a pair of scissors she cut Rapunzel's long hair short as can be. And with her magic, she then sent her to a very faraway country. When the prince arrived at the tower the next day, he had no idea that the witch was waiting for him in the tower.
Hi, Rapunzel. I'm here. Let down your hair, please.
The witch let down the long braid that she had cut from Rapunzel's hair. When the prince reached the window of the tower, the witch was there to meet him. He was terrified the moment he saw her.
What a surprise, huh? You thought you were going to be able to take my girl away who I've hidden for years?
As the witch let go of the braid, the terrified prince found himself on the floor. He fell on top of the bushes, but since he hit his head, he was blinded. Rapunzel was ever present in the prince's mind. So mounted on his horse, he searched for her everywhere. He swore that even if he had to go to the end of the world, he would find her. He searched and searched and searched for a very long time. Finally, one day, he heard a song. The voice was familiar to him.
Ah, this is Rapunzel's voice. I finally found her.
Galloping on his horse, he headed straight towards the sweet voice. He came to the door of the house Rapunzel was staying in.
Rapunzel, I'm here. Open the door.
I can't believe it. Is it really you?
As Rapunzel opened the door, she cried when she saw the prince. She cried so much that her tears fell on the prince's face as he was kneeling. Her tears were miraculous, joyful tears. Suddenly, the blind prince opened his eyes. They hugged each other joyfully and celebrated this miracle. The prince was finally able to propose officially. They returned to the palace and started preparing for the wedding. Upon their return, Rapunzel and the prince looked for her real parents so they could share their news. They were incredibly happy to be reunited with their daughter after all these years. They had a beautiful wedding and they all lived happily ever after.
KONDOSAN